This is the second story in the chapter Lost Spring. And here, the protagonist, the main character, is of Mukesh. Mukesh is the son of a poor bangle maker of Firozabad, where every other family is engaged in making bangles. His poor father has failed to renovate his house or send his two sons to school. Mukesh wants to be his own master. He has his aspirations. His dream is to become a motor mechanic. Though all his family members are engaged in traditional business of bangle making, he wants to do something else. He wants to go against the traditions. This family is living in a half-built hut and stinky lanes of Firozabad. Now when the writer approaches Mukesh and asks about his aspirations, he says, I want to be a motor mechanic. I've learned to drive a car. Here one can understand that he wants to be his own master. He wants to do a job of his choice in his life. We have already seen the first story of Saib, and this is the second story of Mukesh. Both of the children have lost their spring of life, have lost their childhood, because both of them are child laborers. Now Mukesh is the one who has aspirations. He has dreams in his eyes. And what is that? He says that he wants to drive a car. He wants to become a motor mechanic. He wants to do something different what his family members were doing. All his family members were in the business of bangle making. They were all involved in bangle making. That was their traditional job. And everybody who belonged to his family, they were all involved in that. But Mukesh wants to do something else. And it's a very clear way. He says, I want to drive a car. And he says this to the writer. And Mukesh insists on being his own master. What does it mean? He wants to be independent. He wants to be his own master. I'll be a motor mechanic, he announces. And here we learn about his aspiration, about his dreams. Mukesh tells about his aspirations to the writer. That he wants to be a motor mechanic. Then the writer asks, do you know anything about cars? And then he gives answer. I learned to drive a car looking straight into my eyes. Now looking straight into my eyes. When you look straight into someone's eyes, when you are very confident, that shows he has got confidence. He has determined himself that he won't remain in the same profession what his elders did. He wants to change his profession. He doesn't want what his parents have told him. He wants to be independent. And he says, I will learn to drive a car. And he gives this answer very confidently. He gives this reply very confidently. His dream looms like a mirage amidst the dust of streets that fill his town Firozabad, famous for its bangles. Firozabad is a town which is very much famous for bangle making industry. And it's a dream. Whose dream? Mukesh's dream. Mukesh's aspirations. They looms large. It's a dream looms large like a mirage. It's like a mirage. It's like an illusion. It's a dream is like an illusion amidst in the middle of Firozabad is a dusty town. It's not a very clean city. And there it's a very dusty. It's a illusion there. It's not clear. So his dream is far away from reality. Though he is very confident, it is very difficult. All his family members have been following the traditional profession. Every other family in Firozabad is engaged in making bangles. It is the center of India's glass blowing industry, where families have spent generations working around furnaces, welding glass, making bangles for all the women in the land, it seems. And we know that a particular caste people profess a particular profession. We have a potters community and they have a traditional job to do that. So many communities are there in India which follow the traditional profession. Similar way, bangle makers community is also there. And this boy Mukesh belongs to that family. And most of those who are there in Firozabad, they belong to that community and they follow that. They are all engaged in bangle making. They have learned about that skill and they follow all that. It is the center of India's glass blowing industry where families have spent generations working around furnaces, working in a very bad condition. And what they make? They make the bangles. Mukesh families among them. One of the families which is involved in that bangle making is Mukesh family. So here Mukesh family is involved in the profession of this glass bangle making. None of them know that it is illegal for children like him to work in the glass furnaces with high temperatures, in dingy cells without air and light, that the law, if enforced, could get him and all those 20,000 children out of the hot furnaces where they slog their daylight hours, often losing the brightness of their eyes. Where are they? They are all there in these huts. They are all there in these cottages. And these are like dingy cells. Dingy means what? Dingy means dark. These are all small houses without air. Proper air circulation is not there. Proper ventilation is not there. So their workplaces or their houses, they are quite hot. The temperature is very high there because there are furnaces there and they are living there. And they are all dingy cells. These houses are very small. These workplaces are very, very small without proper ventilation. That the law enforces. If the law is implemented, if the child labor laws are implemented, they will all be out of that. These all children will be out of these hot furnaces, where they slog, where they work hard during the daytime. And often what happens, they end up losing the brightness of their eyes. They lose their eyesight. They lose their power to see. They lose their eyesight at a very young age. Mukesh eyes beam. But here, Mukesh eyes beam. Mukesh eyes shine. There's a dream there. Mukesh's eyes beam as he volunteers to take me home, which he proudly says is being rebuilt. So he's very happy when he volunteers, when he says that I'll take you home. And he says very proudly that it was rebuilt. We walk down stinking lanes choked with garbage. So they are walking in those lanes, small lanes, which are choked with garbage. They are blocked with garbage, past homes that remain hovels with crumbling walls. So these are all hovels, these are all slum areas with crumbling walls. These are all small houses, hovels. These are all huts, wobbly doors, shaky doors, unsteady doors, wobbly, no windows, crowded with families of humans and animals coexisting in a primeval state. How it was in earlier days, primitive state, primeval, primitive early days, prehistoric days, primitive, primeval. So animals and human beings existing together. So similar way you will find the animals also, cows, goats, dogs, they are all living together. He stops at the door of one such house, bangs a wobbly iron door with his foot and pushes it open. So here the writer comes to the house of Mukesh, and Mukesh stops there at the door and he bangs. So what he does, it's that door. It's a wobbly door. It's a very shaky door. It's not a well built house. And you find how is the surrounding, very dirty surrounding. So Mukesh is very happy to take the writer to his home. He feels very proud when he informs the writer that the house was renovated. They walk down the streets which were full of garbage, and probably foul smell was there. It was very stinking. That's why the writer says it was stinking. The streets were lined with slums which were unsteady. The walls were falling apart. The doors were unsteady. There were no proper windows. And here were many families where they were living along with animals. They reminded the writer of the prehistoric man or prehistoric days when human beings lived with animals. Then Mukesh stops in front of one of such doors, wobbly door, and what does he do? He hits it hard with his foot to open the door. Now they have come to Mukesh's house, a cottage, a half-built shack. How's it? It's a roughly built, not well-built shack. It's a hut, but it's half-built, not properly constructed, thatched with dead grass. It is thatched. It's covered with dry grass. So thatched, it's covered with grass. So that's why thatched. A cottage thatched with, covered with grass. Then it's a thatched. Is a firewood stove over which sits a large vessel of sizzling spinach leaves. Now sizzling, the sound it produces while frying something, sizzling, kind of sound it produces. And there's a large vessel there, and probably somebody's cooking there. On the ground in large aluminum platters, so large plate. So there on large plate are more chopped vegetables. So vegetables which are cut that are there in the plate, aluminum plate. And here cooking is going on. A frail young woman, frail, very weak, very thin. A frail young woman is cooking the evening meal for the entire family, for the whole family. Through eyes filled with smoke, she smiles, so full of smoke. So her eyes are filled with the smoke. So that smoke is coming out of the firewood stove. And she is the wife of the elder brother of Mukesh. Now here, the writer has come to the house of Mukesh, It is not a well-built house but partially constructed hut. And in one corner there was a firewood stove made with dead. So there, what was there? There was a firewood stove, and that's why the room was full of smoke. And then there was a vessel with spinach leaves that was kept on it, and it was producing sizzling sound there. And there was a big plate also wherein chopped vegetables were there. So there was a very thin young woman cooking the meal for the family, and her eyes were full of smoke that were emanating from the stove. And she happens to be the wife of Mukesh's elder brother. So she is wife of Mukesh's elder brother. So she is quite young, not much older in years. She has begun to command respect as the Bahu, the daughter-in-law of the house, already in charge of three men, her husband Mukesh and their father. So she is a daughter-in-law of the house, therefore she commands the respect from all the family members, and she is preparing food for all those family members. So already in charge of, means she is preparing the food for her husband Mukesh and their father. When the older man enters, now here usually in India that is a tradition. Out of respect, what happens? She gently withdraws behind the broken wall. So when father of Mukesh he enters, she goes behind the broken wall and brings a veil closer to her face. So this is the custom where the woman there, they used to cover their face whenever a stranger or whenever the elderly family members they face them. So she withdraws herself behind the wall, and so she goes behind the wall and she brings her veil closer to her face. She covers her face with veil. As custom demands, daughters-in-law must veil their faces before male elders. So this is the custom that daughters-in-law must cover their faces whenever they are facing the elders of the house. In this case, the elder is an impoverished bangle maker. Is a very poor bangle maker. Impoverished. Impoverished means very poor bangle maker. Despite long years of hard labor, though they have put in hard work for long period, first as a tailor, Mukesh's father first worked as a tailor, then a bangle maker. He has failed to renovate a house. He has not been able to renovate a house. Sent his two sons to school. He has not been able to educate his children. All he has managed to do is teach them what he knows, the art of making bangles. So what he has taught to them is the art of making bangles, which is their traditional profession, and the children are also in that same profession. It is his karam, his destiny, says Mukesh's grandmother, who has watched her own husband go blind with the dust from polishing the glass of bangles. It is his karam, that means it is his karma, his destiny, his fate. Now she has watched her own husband becoming blind, and that is due to the dust that comes out while polishing the glass of bangles. But she justifies this profession. She says it's a lineage, it's a traditional profession of their caste. So those who are in that caste, they have to carry on the traditional business. Can a God-given lineage ever be broken? She implies. So what she does, she justifies her son by saying that he was destined to make bangles as it has been their family business. It has been their family tradition. And what had happened to her husband? He had become blind. born in the caste of bangle makers. They have seen nothing but bangles in the house, in the yard, in every other house, every other yard, every street in Firozabad. Firozabad is a town wherein this industry is everywhere. So Firozabad is famous for this glass making industry. Spirals of bangles, sunny gold, paddy green, royal blue, pink, purple, every color born out of the 7 colors of the rainbow, lie in mounds, lie in piles, mound heap, big heap, and that is not neatly kept, unkept yards, are piled on four-wheeled handcarts, pushed by young men along the narrow lanes of the shanty town. So how's this town? You don't find well-built houses there. Shabbily built houses are there, so that's why shanty town. And the lanes, the streets are very narrow there. And in dark hutments, next to lines of flames of flickering oil lamps, sit boys and girls with their fathers and mothers, welding pieces of colored glass into circles of bangles. So all of them together, they are all in this profession doing and making bangles, polishing the glass bangles, making the bangles. Their eyes are more adjusted to the dark than to the light outside. That is why they often end up losing their eyesight before they become adults. So what has happened to them? They start losing their eyesight before they become adults because the hazardous condition in which they live in, that's why they lose their eyesight. And here the writer says there were bangles in those yards, in those neglected yards which have been kept not properly, neatly. They were dumped on handcarts for sale. They were pushed by men along the streets of Firozabad. And the writer describes the environment where these bangle makers work. They were small dark huts. The children would sit next to a line of oil lamps whose flames were unsteady. So that will also affect their eyesight. They along with their parents joined the pieces of colored glass into circles called bangles. As they spent a lot of time in the dark, their eyes would not adapt to the bright sunlight outside. And as a result, many of them have lost their eyesight before gaining adulthood.